guys?
Here we go. I'm sharing it.
Wow.
This is cool.
This is cool.
Wait, I can just share it now.
Oh my god, you're like those old people.
Hey.
Huh?
Hey.
You can share it? You can share it?
Did I do it? Did I do it?
Did you do it?
I did it.
Oh my god, I love how long this is taking you to just share it. Jesus Christ. Welcome to episode 16 of Coffee with Joan and Brent.
Yep.
Live. A late night edition. We'll see if we make it through the full hour. Probably not. But welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Oh,
all you peeps.
refreshing. What?
It's weird.
Why?
So, we're glad everyone can join us.
Hi!
Got a big crowd. So
That's 6 people.
last night we were normally scheduled to do last night, and at jiu-jitsu I got choked. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't jiu-jitsu. That wasn't what it was. I did the happy hour thing, and I was getting so mad telling a real estate story, and it was like loud in there, so I'm like yelling the whole time, and then my voice was gone.
Yeah.
So then I came home and I'm like,
That would have been
The last time that happened it was jiu-jitsu and I got choked, but now that was this. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a thing on my nose right here. Giuliano, our instructor, I don't remember what he did. He choked me or something, but it was across... Oh, he was just smashing me, and I had the tap. It was across my nose, and I can see the lines, the striations of his gi is on my nose.
Actually.
Yeah, you can actually see the marks from his gi specifically on my nose. So, thanks to him for that, his mark. So, I hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what, Wednesday today?
Is it? Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Had a family day. Go check out the new Jumanji movie. Actually, got to see a movie in the theater for the first time in what, like?
I don't know.
Feels like a year.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but that was a good movie. Check it out.
Yeah.
And
Jumanji. The original one was really good. The second one was actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's actually quite funny.
It actually is quite funny, babe. That's why we saw the third one.
Well, sometimes they don't. You watch the either remakes or the sort of remakes, and they're just not as good.
Sure.
But
yeah, they did.
That
one
was actually pretty good.
Pretty funny.
It was like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or whatever that movie was. The original was way better. I'm just saying. I don't know, though. The second one was kind of creepy to me. I don't know. They were just a little bit creepy.
I think they're both
Did
terrible.
you like it?
I think they're both terrible.
I like the movie.
Ugh, God.
Gene Wilder.
Terrible. So, anyways, we had, let's see. So we've been seeing the allergy doctor.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of like really helpful. Well, no, it's been really helpful.
Yeah.
But I've been super skeptical about this, and I still remain skeptical.
Yeah.
But
it seems so...
It seems so too easy. Here you have people saying hi to you, so you might as well just start yelling hi.
Hi, Carrie!
So yeah, it seems way too easy. It seems like witchcraft, right? Like why would them passing an electric current through you fix it? Whatever. But all I know is that Jack and I had been treated for pollen, like outdoor allergies, and you had not.
I was treated for so all three of us. No, I want to say Jack and I were both treated for pollens. Did you have pollens too?
No.
Oh. Well, anyways, trees, right?
And tree pollens are very high right now.
Yeah.
So we went out to Deep Ellum, which more on that later. We went to Deep Ellum. We were sitting outside on Sunday.
I think it was
Sunday, and because the weather was awesome. And Jack and I were completely fine, and normally we're a mess. And he was a mess the day before he got treated.
Yeah.
Or a couple days ago, and you were a disaster out there.
I didn't.
And you had not been treated for trees yet.
For trees specifically.
So that was kind of a good sign.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then I got treated on Monday.
Yeah, Monday morning.
Yeah.
And the allergies were still high.
Yeah.
The pollens were still high.
The next day.
And you were fine.
Yeah, the next day the pollens were the same, or the tree pollens were the same.
And you were fine.
I was fine. It was like so weird. I don't know. It was so.
And I guess the kind of way we look at it is like, okay, maybe it's psychosomatic, right? Maybe it's just in your head. It doesn't matter as long as something's working.
Yeah, I don't care.
So that's been really helpful. It's called AAT, Advanced Allergy Therapeutics. That's the software they use.
Yeah, so look it up.
Look it up. It's pretty cool. And then I went ahead and Googled it, even though I'd already gone like 8 times already. And I was like, oh, this is pretty legit.
Yeah.
So, pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that. We have like a whole slew of
We're finding out all kinds of things we're allergic to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it ties into like how you're feeling after you eat.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been doing this for a really long time now. I feel like we've been
big weirdos with food.
Yeah, big weirdos with food.
Yeah.
Always, and mostly because we always want to try to feel better. We always want to try to get better. There's always new research coming out, and there's always something coming out that'll help you feel better. Because I was trying to figure out. I was like, why is this so hard? Like, why is it so hard to figure out like what to eat, what you're allergic to, whatever. But we've been doing it for a while now. But we're not doctors or anything or health advisors or whatever. But I would highly recommend looking at what you could potentially be allergic to.
Getting yourself checked. Because, we're finding stuff where like, oh, and it connects. It's not like, really, I eat that all the time, there's no problem. We're like, oh, well, that would kind of make sense.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're just hypersensitive to it or...
Maybe.
Because we just pay attention to it.
Maybe you're just little babies about it.
I don't know. I wouldn't say babies. It's just like, because there's physical evidence, I guess. I mean, I don't just start sneezing because I start wanting to sneeze.
You viewers can just notice how many times she scratches her nose in this episode, and that'll probably be a good test. She hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
So.
Now that you mentioned it, I'm like...
Mm-hmm.
But,
definitely check it out.
But yeah, check it out.
Yeah, Advanced Allergy Therapeutics. And it's not the cheapest thing, but I mean, if like your kid's feeling better, you're feeling better, I think it's well worth it. Yeah,
well, getting treated for it, I think, that was the huge thing for me, is like with allergies, even with just seasonal allergies, it's
every damn season.
Well, it's every season, but...
So it's annual.
But it's anywhere. It's anywhere you go, right?
Yep.
But also, before, if you'd go to like a doctor or just your... What are they called? Just your doctor.
Your GP?
Him. Yeah, sure. Him or her. Whatever. They... But they'll just say, oh, well... A lot of people have allergies, so go ahead and take a Benadryl or take Zyrtec or take or whatever. Take something like that, and it's essentially just covering up the symptoms.
Yeah, and then you feel tired.
Yeah, and then you feel like useless the rest of the day. So then, that's just frustrating. But
so
with
far,
this,
we're
far
2 weeks in. Mm-hmm. We've gone, I think, total like we've been treated maybe each 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So far, pretty good.
Treated for each different allergy.
So we will see.
There's milk, or there's dairy, there's grasses, there's all kinds
of stuff. Jack just got treated for horses today because
we
originally had him tested, and it showed, because every time he goes for his horseback riding lesson, his nose is blowing up.
Yeah.
And when we talked to the allergist, she's like, oh, it's probably grass because hay is a type of grass, and he did test positive for that.
Yeah.
And so then my parents took him again, and his nose is still blowing up, so she tested him for horses, and yes, he's allergic to horses, so she treated him for that. So we'll see, like I said, still skeptical, but we'll see next week how that goes. Yeah. So we'll update everybody on that.
Yeah.
It's kind of encouraging, and it'd be nice to be outside here.
Yeah.
During the few months where it is nice.
Yeah. I think what's really helpful, though, are the emotional aspects to it.
How do you mean, babe? Like... What do you mean?
No, like with allergies,
like
I think...
how you feel?
Yeah, sure. No, like we've talked about it before with when he's having some sort of allergy to, I don't know, air. His mood will really change.
Yeah.
But I think my mood changes too because I feel miserable.
You are miserable when that happens.
But it's true. I feel it.
I said the
so so everybody else is gonna feel it apparently. But I think especially for parents, if they feel like their kids are like over the top, or like when you can tell that there's a difference between being like normal kid,
just fussy,
normal kid, excited, full of energy, versus the what did I give you? Did you just have crack or something? Like what happened? That kind of thing. Check for an allergy and try to find this, because I think it's simple, it's non-invasive.
Yeah,
that's the best part. They
don't have to stick the kids.
Apparently, they could do this with like animals.
Yeah, they can do it with animals.
They could do it with. I think the practitioner the doctor that does ours is she did as young as
11 days old.
Yeah.
11 days old. Which I wish we had known about that, because we knew Jack had some sort of allergies when he was.
What?
It's the light crackled and I thought I was about to fall over. Oh. Jack had we knew he had allergies, but you have to wait till he's so old. I can't even remember how old it was. Was it a year?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, or 2 years before you can get him actually tested, right? And we're like, waiting with this so you could do it early and get it treated too. It's not like they just
They're
stop
like,
it.
Yep,
No, supposedly they treat it. So we'll see. We will see. We'll update that next week.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, we went to Deep Ellum. We've actually gone twice now. Like we don't go to Dallas that often, but we should because when we go
that far.
during the week, when there's no traffic,
yeah,
which is a luxury of working for yourself, it only is like 40 minutes to downtown, like Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
And so we went down there because we're like, oh, maybe we'll go to Pecan Lodge, get some good barbecue. And Pecan Lodge has amazing barbecue food. But there's always a line out the door. And if you're not there early, I'm like, I'm not waiting in line with a 4-year-old for an hour.
Yeah.
It's just not something
I'm
I
not
want to
gonna
deal
wait
with.
that long.
Not on a day off, just don't want to deal with that. So I looked online, and there's a restaurant called Terry Black's, just Terry Black's Barbecue. And it's like really highly rated, and it's like what 5 stores down or something like that.
Yeah,
or it's a couple blocks down.
Yeah, a couple blocks.
And
It's on
it's
Same
much
Street.
bigger, and there's no line.
Yeah,
Well,
they
there's
have
a
more
short
space.
line inside.
Yeah.
And the food was really good. So
Yeah.
we actually have gone twice.
Yeah.
And that whole area is really turning itself around. Coffee shops everywhere.
Yeah.
Food
I remember.
stores.
So when was it? Like a year or 2 ago? I think it was last year. Was our last time that we shot down there?
Who? Morgan and Edwin?
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay,
that was
2
maybe
years
more.
ago.
That might have been 3.
But then again, because we had gone there before.
Bringing some of the people we did the engagement shoots have children already. Come on, that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm talking about how we went there last year, but anyways, we went there last year. Maybe it wasn't for a shoot, but even the last time from the last time we went there, they had built up so much on that street. That street's actually like really nice.
Right.
Because I'd never been to Deep Ellum prior to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I was always told never to go down there because that was like the clubbing scene when I was little, and I was like, oh, okay.
But yeah, it's actually really nice, and they've got cool like murals down there. A lot of photographers go
like
there.
street art, graffiti, stuff like that.
And it's fun art.
Yeah, so fun.
It's so fun.
So fun.
Yeah, I let Jack take my old what is it that.
Your point and shoot?
Well, he has my point and shoot, but it's like the iPod or what is it? The
your
touch.
old iPod Touch?
That whatever. I just use that for any like music or whatever. But I let him actually just use the camera, and he actually takes really good pictures.
Mm-hmm. So now I know I'm never gonna get anywhere one with you two.
Yeah, that's
It takes
okay.
me forever to get any place.
That's all right.
I'll be like, I'll pick you guys up later.
That's fine.
I'm gonna hit the bar while
You guys
do
go. You guys go. Have fun. But it was really cute watching him try to take pictures of what he likes.
Yep.
So all the stoplights and the stop signs.
Yep.
And he managed to find a cactus.
Of course he did. He's obsessed with cactus. I don't know why.
I don't know. But yeah, it's really nice down there, and I really like that barbecue. That barbecue was
Really good.
really good. So if you need good barbecue in Dallas,
Right.
Pecan Lodge is good, but if that line is horrendously long, just go down the street
To Terry
Black's.
Terry Black's.
Right? Yeah, Terry Black's.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. They've got good outdoor seating. Like this, like the...
Yeah, they had a rooftop too.
Yeah.
Rooftop bar or rooftop seating.
It was cool. It was nice.
Nice.
It was...
And so you have to reschedule. You had to reschedule your elderberry class.
Yeah, I did.
Nailed it.
I think it's just the time that I picked.
Well, you picked Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, well, and it was was that this weekend? Oh, it was President's Day.
Yeah, that was the.
I think that was
Yeah. It all blended in, so people were all going on their own little trips.
Yeah. So I'll do it in March.
So yeah, March.
I'll do it in March.
Mix those berries. You mix those berries.
It did help.
So
It does help.
well, we were trying to come up with a topic to discuss. I figure, hey, let's talk about in real estate. So a lot of people wonder, like, why do we charge what we do?
Why do you have a real estate agent?
Yeah, that. So I mean, like, okay, what's the main difference? Like, why would you pay all this money to a real estate agent versus just do it yourself?
Yeah.
Right? Or why would you just not get an agent and get one that'll just do it really cheap?
Yeah.
Right? So, first of all, we'll start on the easy part. What? I'm going to get going? Mm-hmm. So we'll start on the easy part. We'll start when you're a buyer, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're a buyer, it doesn't cost you anything. And I think a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Right? In Texas, the sellers pay for commissions. So the buyer, it doesn't cost them a dime to work with an agent.
Yeah.
Right? And that agent, if they get a good one,
yeah,
yes, they're going to make the 3% that's paid from the seller, but they're also going to do the research to know, hey, is this a good neighborhood for you? Is this a good price that you're about to pay?
Yeah.
What offer should we put in?
Yeah.
Right? How do we negotiate with this? What is internet? How do we...
What is this Google machine?
I'm going to communicate, right? They're going to communicate with the listing agent. Okay, now how are we going to do repairs, right? Do you have a vendor? Do you know how to do these repairs? Do you have a lender that I can use? Yeah. They bounce off back and forth. So it's easy on the buy side to say, why would you use an agent?
Yeah.
Well, it's free, right? So I don't know anybody that goes into a transaction and says, I don't want to use an agent as a buyer. I don't want an agent. I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Now it does happen sometimes. There's brokerages out there on new construction that just says, hey, just so you know, just put our name down. We'll rebate almost everything to you. But they won't do any work. Right? Mm-hmm. So they're like, yeah, go find the house. Yeah, just put our name down. I'm not doing anything for you. They do nothing. And we're like, well, really, guys? Because, even on new construction, we actually do bring a lot of value. What does Marie say? I didn't understand that until I reached out to one a few years ago for a rental now. Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Even for rentals, that's another thing. It's free.
Yeah.
So, but even on a new build, yeah, we can provide a lot, right? We can cut through the bull from the sales agents. We can, advise on, hey, you probably shouldn't put this much in it, or, you're going to overpay.
Yeah.
We can help them sometimes negotiate things down. We can help sometimes get upgrades thrown in, and we can just be an advocate, and it doesn't cost them anything. It's free. So that's the easy conversation to have. Why should you use an agent for that? Now, why use an agent to sell?
Yeah.
Right? Because now when you're selling, traditionally the seller has to pay 6%, right? 3% goes to the listing agent and 3% goes to the buying agent, right? So 6% total. So if you're selling a $300,000 house, that's $18,000. Mm-hmm. See, real estate agents aren't good at math, but we know how to calculate 3%, just like that, right?
I've noticed that.
Yeah, we're really good at that. So, okay, first of all, why would you even use an agent as opposed to do it yourself? Because we'll just use a $300,000 house for example.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's $18,000 out of your pocket that you could keep in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of money. It is. But how do you know how to price your house correctly?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you don't have access to it.
You don't have access to the MLS, and you don't really have access to what other homes sold for unless you want to dig through court records, but you're not going to really see a lot. Mm-mm. So you're like, okay, I think my house, I saw my Zillow's estimate says it's worth $290.
Then you're going to tack on a lot more there because you're going to...
Well, hold on. So your estimate's almost always wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're like, oh, well, I did put in, knobs on my cabinet, so now that's worth $20,000, right? So you're gonna say, all right, well, I'm gonna either you're gonna price it too low, right? You're like, oh, I guess $275. Well, maybe it's worth $300, right? So right there, you just cost yourself $25,000, right? Or more likely, you say, oh, my house is worth $320. It's not. It's worth $3. Yeah. So you put it on the market at $320. And then what happens, Joan? If you heard from me bitching and moaning for so long, when you price a house
too high,
$2,000 or $20,000 over value, what happens?
It sits there.
It sits there.
Yeah.
So now you've got a house that's sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting, and it's a FSBO. So first of all, it's not. That's for sale by owner, by the way. It's not getting broadcast out there. It's not getting marketed. It's just sitting there. It's on forsalebyowner.com or whatever the hell they do, or Craigslist.
It doesn't go on MLS, right?
It does not go on MLS. You have to be an agent to have access to that.
Yeah.
So it's not being broadcast out there. And then it's sitting there. It's $20,000 overpriced.
Yeah. And
it's just going to sit. And you're making mortgage payments and you're losing time.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not and if you price it at 320, it's at like not a cutoff that people would.
Right. Well, that's another thing, right? So, you know, and I'll get into that later, but so now you're sitting on, your house is sitting on the market. Now maybe the new house you want to buy is gone, right? Home values have gone up, right? New builds, the prices have gone up because you've been an idiot just sitting waiting, trying to save that, right? Now we can talk about people wanting to do discounts. Now, real estate commission is always negotiable, right? It is against the Federal Sherman Antitrust Act to say we are fixing our real estate prices as a brokerage, right? Now, an agent can say, no, I'm not discounting for you, right? But we can't have brokers in collusion with each other. So it's always negotiable, just not with me.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, hey, what can you do for a discount, right? I want a discount double check, right? Because I'm not paying that $18,000.
That is so old.
It's not that old.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not paying $18,000 to you because you don't do anything. I hear that a lot. And you have to say, well, sir, I'm just going to tell you right now.
They don't do anything. I love
that.
It's
not $18,000 to me.
Yeah.
It's $9,000 to me and $9,000 to the other agent, right? Now, if you're making us take a cut, so let's say 5% total, well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not taking that 1% away from the buyer's agent because even though they're supposed to show every house to their to their buyers, you think a buyer's agent all the time is going to say, oh, I'm not going to get paid near as much, so I'm definitely going to show them that. No, who would do that, right? So we don't take it away from them. So then you say, oh, well, then that has to come out of the listing agent's end.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to tell you right now, most of the time, unless it's like an unusual circumstance, a good agent is not going to discount their commission.
Yeah.
Now, why is that, Joan?
Because they understand their value. There's a lot of work.
They know their value.
There's a lot of work. I see.
Well, I mean.
Well, I mean, you can say how much work you do, but I see it from the other. Like I see it from a I guess an outsider's perspective.
Right.
There's a lot of work that goes into just one, listing the house, but the entire process from, let's say it gets under contract. That entire process in between from
we'll get there.
Signing to, no, I'm just talking about the amount of work that gets done. But then beforehand, like for a buyer, the amount of work that goes into it before you even get to a house that you even want to put an offer in, the amount of times that you have to go show homes.
Well, yeah, okay,
but I'm just talking about the amount of work.
Right, that's what I'm about to talk about.
But that's what I'm saying is why you don't discount your stuff, because there's a lot of work, a lot of legal.
So I was going with the first thing you said is you know your value, right? Because most agents know their value. Now, I think a lot of people will say, well, I mean, you're making $9,000 on this deal, and I mean, you're not working that much. Well, okay, if you take the amount of hours I truly work per your home, if you're looking at like $1 per hour, or like, you know, a dollar figure per hour.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but don't look at it like that, because
you can't look at it like that.
Well, you can't, because do you look at your doctor when you go get checked out and you're like, you only work 10 minutes, I'm not paying you that? No, because you're paying them based on their experience and their knowledge.
Their expertise.
Right. So, you know, the agent has to make sure that it's, you know, priced correctly. So let's talk about some of the stuff that agents do, right? What good agents do.
Yeah.
And basically, the summary of the whole thing is a good agent will be worth far more than their commission to you. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then you didn't get a good agent.
Yeah.
Right? So, from the beginning, Mr. and Mrs. Smith call, and they say, hey, we're thinking about selling. We want to put our house on the market. We want to move. Okay, great. You know, let me pull up some information. And do you know, we always say this too, like, so what do you think it's going to be worth?
Yeah.
And you'll find out right away if they're crazy or not. You can just tell. Right? If they go, you know, a little bit higher, they're like, well, we don't know. We were kind of playing around. We were thinking, we'll just use the $300,000 house, for example. I don't know. We were thinking maybe around 320, 310, something like that. Okay, that's reasonable. Yeah. If they say 450, you're like, all right, this is a crazy person. I'm not even going to bother taking this listing. This is not a realistic person, right? But most of the time it's like, no, we really don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I get on my computer, I pull up tax records, I pull up their house. Now keep in mind, I haven't even seen their house yet, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at square footage and age and location around their house, and I'm trying to just get a good idea roughly where their house could be. And then in my mind, I have like a window, right? So I say, depending on what this house looks like when I see it, it can be either 270 or it could be up to 300. We'll use that kind of range, right? So you go out and you meet with them and you walk through and you see what it is. So we say, all right, we're going to sign the paperwork. How much is it? 6%. 6%? Are you kidding me? Yes, trust me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, they sign the paperwork. Yeah. Okay, so we agree on a price point. Now, let's say this house is really nice. It's got all the upgrades, cute little starter home ready to go, and it's clean. So they say, well, we definitely want to do 300. Okay, we can do 300, but I recommend we do 299.9. Oh, really? Is that just because it looks better in the eye of the buyer? Yes, but mostly when people tell their agent, hey, look, we need to find a house under 300,000. When they search for under 300,000, it'll show up.
Yeah.
If your house is right at 300, not going to show up.
Yeah.
So that $100 could cost you a buyer,
yeah.
right? And that's days on market. And when your house is sitting on the market for a long time, and it depends in the area, right? But if it's been sitting for a long time, then buyers look at it and they go, that's weird. Something must be wrong with it. And then it sits and sits and sits, right? So we go through that. We advise them on, hey, you probably need to rearrange stuff. You probably need to take the deer heads off the wall. We need to get a stager in here and make the house look nice. We got to get great professional photographer to come in and get good photos.
Of good angles of the house.
Yeah, actual good angles of the house.
Right?
So, we do that. And then, we get all the documents to them. We take our time and we really fully prep them for everything, right? Because knowledge is so key in this process. Because, we're not going to sugarcoat it. Selling your house sucks.
It's a
pain in the ass. And it's not... Pain. It's not like the worst thing in the world, right? But it's not fun. So we try
there's a lot of steps involved.
God, but there's so much.
But that's why you get an agent.
Preparation that we have to tell them. Hey, look, this is coming up. I've seen this, and this happen. Be prepared for any of it. This could happen. Watch out for this, right?
Yeah.
So you're letting these these sellers know any of these things can happen. Now that only comes with experience, right? Yeah. Hence what you're paying for. Mm-hmm. So, you're paying to know what could go wrong and keeping your expectations at a certain level, right? Because we're as agents, we're trying to control the ups. Oh my God, we have an offer. Oh my God, we're going to inspections and they're asking for too much. And then, oh my God, I didn't make appraisal. And there's all this crazy stuff. So we have to, coach them through this. And it really is coaching them. Yeah. Right? We also have to prepare them for when repairs go on, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, just so you know, they're probably going to ask for this stuff. Yeah. Right?
Well, because the inspection.
Oh my God.
Is usually written in a way where it sounds like.
Well, yeah, the inspections can be can be written very poorly a lot of times. So buyers see that inspection daunting. And they're scared. Yeah. And they ask for everything. If where an agent really shines for their seller is when the other agent on the buyer side is either A, incompetent, because that's a big one, or just a jerk, right? But mostly incompetent, because incompetence is where you get sued or where things get left off, right? So we're constantly double checking and making sure that nothing's going to go wrong, right? So you already have decided, you already know that buyer's agent is going to get 3%. Right? You already know that. That's out of the question to say that you're not going to pay that agent 3% to bring somebody to you, right? You want to sell your house? Yes, you do. Okay, so that 3% now, we're only talking about $9,000. Now, you're selling a house for $300,000. 9,000 isn't a ton, and we can prove our value. So we've priced your house correctly. We've gotten it staged. We've gotten awesome photos. We have it marketed correctly on the MLS, right? Then we're also checking, when we get an offer in, we're checking with the other agent, right, to make sure that the contract is done correctly, right? We want to make sure that's good. We make sure that the pre-approval letter is actually of the amount that should be to purchase the house. That's why my voice went hoarse last night yelling about this. We're calling the lender. We're calling the buyer's lender. Hey, what's going on? Is this a good buyer? Do they have a house to sell? Are they going to be pre-approved? I mean, are they good to go as far as we know? You know, we're dealing with that. When after the inspection, we get, you know, a ridiculous repair request. And it's stuff that's already been fixed. Stuff that has already... I'm going to get going now on this deal. Stuff that has already been fixed and was told to the agent but didn't pass it along to the other agent.
Yeah.
Stuff that's been done. And then they're asking for $2,500.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, like, wait a second, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And you're going back and you're verifying and you're talking to your sellers and you're advising them. And then you tell them to go to hell. We're not giving you anything. Right? Basically. Sure. So, you know, going through all of that. Or when there's a repair request saying, hey, we want this done. Or if you don't want to do it, we'll do it. Give us $2,000. And we're like, $2,000? That sounds insane. So let me call some of my vendors. And then maybe a vendor tells you, oh yeah, that's about $2,000. And you're like, really? So then you call your inspector, your own personal one. And then you call some other vendors. And then you find out, no, it's only actually going to cost about $10. That's exactly what happened on my deal right now. So, you know, just that advice right there. Yeah. Otherwise, it could have been $2,000 for him there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is worth its weight in gold alone. Right? Yeah. So now, are there brokerages that will do discount? Yeah, absolutely. I've done it. There's nothing wrong with it. I've done it in the past. Right? I've done it in the past when I was a younger agent. You know, you're trying to, you know, just earn
experience.
Yeah. Right?
You have to.
But a lot of times, though, if it's not a newer agent that's trying to do that, it's just a firm that they just, you know, typically just do discounted listings. We see all kinds of problems with that, right? So first thing we see is in the MLS, the listing agent is offering 2% to the buyer, which you already kind of look like that's weird. They don't spend the $80 to put a secure blue Supra iBox lockbox on the front door. It's a combo one that costs them $15, and you're like, all right, there's already issues I'm seeing, right? The listing agents, a lot of times at their discount, now I have seen it at full price ones, but they don't respond.
Yeah.
They don't follow up, right? They're just letting buyers, like as a buyer's agent, I've like almost begged, like, can I please put an offer in on this? Please just respond to me. Do you want your house to sell? And that's not good for the sellers at all.
No.
Right? So, I mean, think about how many sellers are being left.
Why
right?
do you think that are they just not good at their job? Do they just not like...
Yes, because...
Why do they not respond? I mean, I guess as...
Yeah,
like, as
100%.
A seller...
No, I know why. Because there's no barrier to entry in this industry.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's actually much like...
Right, but most, like, industries like that, where you can just... And even in yours, you don't even have to go to school.
No.
Right? But like in real estate, you can just go in, pay about $1,000. 3 weeks later, you have a real estate license.
Yeah.
Now what? Right? I'm going to sell your house. Okay. Do you know how to do it? Okay. Well, I mean, everybody's been new at one point. Do you have somebody that's like leading you and helping you to do that? So if they don't know, that's a problem, right? So you have, you know, at least 80% of the people are poor at what they do. Yeah. Right? But it's more like 90. But then the other 10 to 20% are amazing, right? So you know what we go up against. So, I mean, listing agents, a lot of times they do it for cheap, and because they're doing it for cheap, they don't care. Which I don't blame them. They're doing it for cheap. They're hardly getting paid. I know my first deal, 10 years ago, just to get experience, I took a listing at 0.5% commission for myself. Yeah. And I was pissed about it, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get my first thing. But God, I was treated like crap. But anyways, you know, they don't respond. They fill things out incorrectly. stuff that can actually,
get you in trouble.
Get you in big trouble, get your license revoked.
Yeah.
Right? Or that's the other thing. If an agent, especially buyers and sellers, if they're not keeping their clients appraised of deadlines, that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Okay? I've seen it before. We have a thing called an option period. And when you have an option period, when you put your offer in, once it's accepted, you pay a small amount of money, usually $100 or $200, and you get 7 to 10 days at the beginning of that contract. And during that time, you can use that time to do whatever you want, and you can get out for any reason. We use that time to perform inspections and have repair negotiations. And if there's just too much to work on the house, you can get out. You've only lost that $100 or $200, but you get your earnest money back.
Yeah.
So that's what an option period is. And in Texas, you count the day of contract execution as day 0, right? So let's say it's a 7-day contract, and the contract's executed on a Sunday, which usually happens, right? So then you start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you have till the next Sunday, right? And I think it's like 3 years ago, they changed it. Instead of midnight, it's 5 p.m., right?
Wow.
It's 5 p.m. on the day that it expires. And you'll see agents sometimes, they're working with their buyers, and they come up on the morning of and say, hey, we want to negotiate. Oh, okay, it's a little bit too late. You should be prepared to bail out of this thing.
Yeah.
And they're negotiating back and forth.
Negotiating on the day of.
On the day of. And then they don't realize, hey, in about 8 minutes, your thing's about to expire. And they don't know.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're dumb or anything. They're just not educated.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got a buyer and you're like, oh yeah, we have till midnight tonight to negotiate this thing.
Oh.
Right? Well, let's say 5 p.m.'s rolled past.
Yeah.
And then you finally say, all right, we're going to do this. And the listing agent says, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're in the option period or we're going to pull out. And they
Yeah.
say, actually, your option period ended about 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And if you back out of this, your buyer is losing their earnest money of like $4,000 they just put down. So that agent now is going to have to say, hey, I just lost you $4,000.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? Or if they don't have their option check delivered within 3 days. If that's not delivered on time, they don't have an option period.
Yeah.
Hi, Tracy. So yeah, if they don't have that delivered in time, they don't have an option period. And the thing is, the buyers are pissed when that happens, right? As they should be, because their agent is their fiduciary. They are there to guide them and lead them along this process. Yeah. So, 100% a good agent is worth their weight in gold. Now, if you talk about luxury listings, right? If you start looking at homes that are 10 million and up, you start to see the commission that they're willing to pay to the buyer, the percentage to a buyer is going to drop. Not always. Sometimes you see 3%, and if you do, that's a good one. But if it's a really expensive home, you'll see it drop to 2%, right? So, you can say it's a $10 million house, right? And they could be like, what? Is the buyer's agent not good enough with $200,000 in commission? Yeah. Like, that's not enough for them? So, and that's where it changes. But, like, the listing agent on a luxury home, that's a whole different animal, too. Yeah. Because, I'm not talking about $1.5 million homes. You have to market that a certain way. But once you start getting over 4 or 5 million, 10 million and up, you really have to market that in a completely different way. You can't just market it in Dallas-Fort Worth. You can't just market it in Texas. You have to market it globally. You have to go all over the world, because how many people have the cash to be able to put down $10 to $15 million for a house? Not many. So you have to market to Japan, China. A lot of Chinese investors come in, or people that just have a lot of money. The Middle East, Europe. You have to market all over the world. Right? And that's a whole different thing that takes place in a whole different level of experience. Yeah. So you say, gee, this person, they're getting paid $300,000. You're like, you're damn right they're getting paid that much, because they're saving you that much along the road. Otherwise, if you don't want to, you can drop it to 8. You can drop to 8, it might sell. And now you've lost $2 million instead of paying that, good agent what they're worth. Yeah. So, in today's industry, there's a lot of talk about trying to cut the agents out. Open Door and Zillow, they're going to just try to cut the agents out, and we're going to redo the thing. And no, you're not, because we're boots on the ground, and we actually know what the neighborhood looks like, and we are advocates for them. Now, are there some bad agents? Absolutely, but the good ones are totally worth their money.
Yeah. So how do you find those good agents?
Yeah. So, I mean, no matter where you are, ask around first, right? Get referrals. That's probably the best way. I mean, could you go online and look for somebody that has a bunch of reviews? Yeah, you can do that. That works, right? You don't know how busy they're going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Talk to a friend that moved recently. Hey, did you like your agent? Yeah. Anything you didn't like? No, they're great. Talk to an agent, interview them, and then ask for a list of references. They should be able to give you quite a few phone numbers of clients, former clients to talk to.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, obviously, are they going to give you bad ones that went? No, they're not going to give you bad. I wouldn't. I'm not going to give you ones that went bad. But I mean, if they have a lot of good ones that they're going to say they went above and beyond, right?
Yeah.
They drive to Garland on a friggin' Thursday and sit there, for 45 minutes while something gets screwed up again.
Yeah.
They go out of their way 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. Boom. Mic drop.
So, for a buyer, what can they expect you to be doing?
So for the buyer's side, well,
I know you were talking about how.
Well, first thing is
to them.
Well, the first thing is we gotta find
free.
a house. It is free, and the first thing is we gotta find you a house, right? So they're I'm just I'm on Trulia. I found this. Oh, please just let me look for you. Okay, I mean, it's good that you go and you get your own ideas, but most of the stuff you're gonna find is outdated or inaccurate. So I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be sending you homes based on what you like. We're going to narrow it down. We're going to go look at a bunch of homes. Okay, so we're looking at homes. The agent is going to be giving you advice as you're walking the house. Hey, look at that. That looks like water damage.
Yeah.
Or, oh, this is a really nice thing. I like the way that this is built. This should be good. Or, look at the floor here. I'm starting to feel like this might be foundation. Just keep in mind for that, right? So we're constantly giving advice. Yeah. Right? They're reviewing the seller's disclosure. Be like, hey, they had termite damage here, but it was repaired. Foundation damage. Or, no, this house is completely clean. It looks good, right? And then they're also saying, how much should we offer, right? Do you offer them $50,000 less? Well, it depends on the price point. If it's a $400,000 house, $50,000, you're going to probably piss them off, right? If it's an $800,000 house.
But how would they know?
How would they know?
How would they know if it's 50? If, like they say, if you go below...
Well, that's the thing. So we comp it, right?
Yeah.
We comp it first. So we sit there, and that's probably where we make our money, right? Yeah. Comping is so crucial, right? Because you got to make sure it's priced correctly. Because you feel like a jerk when you see an overpriced listing and you tell your buyers, yeah, go ahead, buy this one, it's good. And then the appraisal comes in, and it's actually a good appraisal, and it's like $40K under. Yeah. And then they look at you and they're like, what's wrong? Be like, I don't know, it changed. I mean, it makes you look like an idiot. Yeah. So, we comp it. We say, all right, look, this house, we'll just stay with the $300,000. This house, they have it listed at $299,900. It appears to be priced right. It's the first weekend. Yeah. All right. So what should we offer? You better go in at almost asking price, $297,000 or right at asking price. Okay. It's been sitting on the market for 6 months. I don't know, come in at $285 and see what they do. Yeah. And if the buyers say, well, we really want to come in at $270, like, yeah, we'll do that. I'll do whatever you want. But if you piss off that seller, you're not going to get a counter. They're just going to say no and end all communication. So if you really want that house, put in a realistic offer. Yeah. Okay. So then once that happens, they put in the offer, and then we're handling the negotiations back and forth, relaying it, right? We're kind of the intermediary position between the sellers and the buyers. We're the ones that have to take the heat on that. Once we're under agreement, then we're handling the checks, making sure that option fees, earnest monies are delivered, everything's handled on time. The buyers, our buyer's agent, we're gonna say, hey, do you need a referral for an inspection? Most likely, yes. Not that many homeowners say, no, I've really got a good home inspector I use all the time. Yeah. Most of them say no. So we give them 3. They can choose whoever, but we want to make sure we give them a really good one.
Hi, Giuliano.
Hi, Giuliano. You seeing my nose that you messed up today? So we give them a good referral for an inspector. We show up towards the end of the inspection and make sure that, let the inspector walk us through. What do we see in this house? What are the issues? And before we even started the inspection, we've prepped our buyers on what we're going to be asking for based on what shows up in the inspection report, right? We're not asking for anything cosmetic. We're not asking for things to be updated just to be made code. right? Like if a house was built in 1975, right, and then some things have changed, and they say, well, you know, current code shows that you need to have GFCIs or AFCIs in every house or every room. Well, no, we're not paying money to do that, right? Yeah. And you can, as a buyer's agent, you can say, oh, I mean, you can ask for whatever you want. They can always say no. But, you know, you always got to kind of walk that line because you're like, okay, it's give and take. If you want to make sure that they are taken care of on the repair side, you want to make sure that you're being nice and following etiquette because maybe you need help from the listing agent, you know, or from the sellers even. A little bit of grace on the other end. So, you know, we got to make sure that repairs are handled correctly.
Yeah.
And then it slows down a little bit. We're making sure that, you know, when the appraisal comes through, we have comps pulled and we have that set on the table that the appraiser can take or choose to not take sometimes.
Yeah.
And we got to have that out for them and make sure that...
This is from the seller or
No, this is the buyer. Or, I'm sorry. I flipped all over. Yeah. I'm sorry. So then we don't really... After the repairs, there's not a whole lot we have to do on that end, right? For the buyer's agent, it's all that beginning stuff. Putting it in there, making sure the offer is correct, and then also just coordinating with the lender, making sure everything's going to be set, coordinating with title. Hey, do you have everything we need? Do you have all the documents you need? Buyer, do you have your down payment ready? Mm-hmm. Right? Do you please tell me you're not going to open up a new line of credit.
Yeah.
Right? It's constant advisement. And it all has to do with mistakes that have been made by other agents in the past. We've all learned and heard stories and stuff like that. And it's so crucial that you get yourself a good agent. Because like I said, you don't pay for the buyer's agent. So, I mean, you could just take Joe Blow, but he's not going to tell you what price to offer if it's correct. Yeah. Right?
And facilitating in all of the, you know, like anything with your lender or with making sure, like what time is everything going to happen? What time, you know, at what point do you have the deadlines?
Yeah.
And, okay. Making sure you close on time.
I think this is right. Do you know what the number one most hated industry is?
No.
Real estate.
Really?
I believe it's the number one thing because there's so much trust lost out there, right? Mm. These guys are just in it for the money. They don't even return phone calls. See, it's the bad ones that give everyone. Car sales? Yeah, I think even more than that.
Interesting. Because
think about it, you're just buying a car, right? But a house, it's like this is your whole world.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, communication is a huge thing in this industry, and I find it all the time there's problems. I call another agent, they don't return my call. They don't return texts. And you're like, what are you doing? It's huge. And you will find that all the time. So make sure that whatever agent you choose is going to communicate with you and is going to reply and quickly too.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, sorry. Now, I have my days off, right? And if it's a text, I'll usually fire back like, hey, I'll check on it when I get home.
Yeah.
Right? This is my day off. Now, if it's a crisis, boom, I'm on it right away. Sorry, I'll drop everything.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that you kind of realize, okay, where are you in terms of where are you in your deals?
Right, you know.
Yeah.
Right? Just like this one that I'm working still working right now, and we just got word that the appraisal was good. Now, how would I have known that? Because I had to reach out to the buyer's lender.
Yeah.
Right? Not my job, but I do it anyways, because I want to know. I don't like surprises. So, you know, you're just constantly managing.
You've had enough experience to know that if you wait till the night before to check on anything,
something will go wrong.
Something just...
So that's why I am worth my 3%, and eventually I may raise that even more. But that's why I'm worth that.
Yeah.
And, you know, some agents may not feel they're worth it and they want to discount it. That's fine. Go ahead and go for it. But just make sure that you're not opposed to paying an agent what they're worth, because a good agent will bring you far more than that commission. Yeah. Seriously, far more.
Yeah.
Like even this one right now where the buyer wanted $2,000, actually $2,500 in repairs. Right? Mm-hmm. And through advice and everything, I got it down to 0 because there was no reason.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but another agent might have been like, yeah, this is a good deal. You should take it. You should take it.
Yeah.
Well, already it's $2,500.
Yeah, because you look into it. You don't just...
Right. And I priced it correctly. You know, I mean,
Toot toot.
Yeah, I am tooting my own damn horn. They originally wanted this house priced higher. Right? Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, look, guys, based on this and this and this, it will not sell. And even if you do get an offer,
appraisal.
It's not going to make appraisal, right? Oh, what if I get a cash buyer? Cash buyers don't overpay.
Yeah.
That's why they have so much cash.
Yeah.
They don't make dumb decisions with their money. Why would they overpay for it?
Yeah.
Be like, I'm sorry, I will give you, because obviously I get paid. The more your house sells for, the more I get paid. People say, oh, you just want to price it low so you get paid. If your house sells for more, I'll get more money, right? So the whole point is to get your house sold as quickly as possible for the most money possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Gold star, that's right. So, yeah. I think that's all I have to say about that. now that I'm like sweating, I'm getting all mad now. Why did I have this button the whole time? You let me do that? Jesus. So.
But yeah.
Yeah. That's it. So get yourself a good agent. Seriously.
Yeah, do your research.
Well, actually, okay, so I'm just going to jump into this then, right? Mm-hmm. So we had, Keller Williams has a big thing annually called Family Reunion. And it is based in Dallas this year.
We saw all of them when we were at saw all the people.
Oh, yeah. In Deep Ellum, we saw all the agents. So there's like 20,000 agents from Keller Williams global. Not the Asians, no, the agents. 20,000 agents from Keller Williams flew in town to at the convention center down here, and they get to see, they get to see Gary Keller get up on stage. Gary Keller is like the godfather of real estate, right? Like all the books he's written, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent,
The One
Thing. He's got 4 books out there. So it's kind of cool to see him, and the guy's a billionaire. This is a podcast, Tracy.
It's not technical.
Well, it's a kind of a podcast. So anyway. So so I didn't get a chance to go down to Family Reunion, but my broker, Robert.
Yeah, Robert!
He's not watching right now.
Well, maybe he will later.
He won't.
Just put this clip there.
I should put this clip on there. He was actually selected to go on the panel and be interviewed by Gary Keller because of just the work that he's done, right? So, it's really a cool thing to say that our team, the SWR Group, is the largest Keller Williams team in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. I was at a networking thing last night, and a lady was talking to me, and she's like, oh, okay, so, how many are on your team that moved over? And I said, about 160, something like that. She goes, no, on your team, how many? I guess 160. And she goes, what? I'm like, yeah. So, when we're talking about, and I'll just do this kind of quickly, but we talk about agents, and experience is one thing, but everybody was new at one point.
Yeah.
I'm new, or I was new, right? Mm-hmm. So does that mean I'm not a good agent? Well, no, it means I don't have experience. So you have to you can't necessarily look at how long have you been doing that, because I've seen agents that have been in the industry for 30 years and they're terrible, right? I don't even know. So, if you look at somebody that's new, what's their support system, right?
Yeah.
Are they being trained? Do they have somebody to bounce ideas off of and come to with problems? Because there are always problems, right?
Yeah.
I've been in this is my 10th year, and I still come up with find stuff that's well, that's weird. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Right? So, who do you go to? And this is why I wholeheartedly believe that our team is the best for any agent out there.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
Could you go and start your own firm? Yeah, you could, but I wouldn't do it in this climate. That's why firms are actually migrating to Keller Williams.
Yeah.
We had a huge team out of Oakland, California. They were with Sotheby's, and they just moved to Keller Williams. Huge team. They're like $180 million closed homes in last year, right? Another guy that just moved from, I think it was Briggs. And he came over, and his gross commission was $5.2 million, and he just moved over to Keller Williams, right? So, anyway, so our team, though, we are a brokerage inside of a brokerage, right? So we are at Small World Realty, this medium-sized firm that has the best service and the best training. And seriously, not just we have classes every now and then. No, it is hand-holding, right?
Yeah.
We review every single document that goes out. You cannot screw up unless you intentionally screw up.
Yeah.
So, and then, we have 1 hour response times. Like, if you have a question, send a text, and within 1 hour, you're going to get an answer.
Yeah.
And in this industry, it's pretty much unheard of.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are so many people, right? But we have it, our little pocket, and then we have the name and the brand and the technology of Keller Williams.
Yeah.
Which,
That's
by the way,
cool.
we have a new app that is out, or it's rolling out slowly. It's awesome.
Is it?
Yes.
Like,
It's our new consumer app, right? For searching, right? And
consumer app, like...
for the people to use, right?
Okay.
So, and it connects to our command system on the other end, right?
Uh-huh.
But so I just got I saw some videos on it a while ago. I just started playing with it. But one of the cool features is, let's say you're scrolling through, the algorithms and the AI in it know, hey, this person actually spends more time looking at homes if the kitchen's white. So if they
Oh, that's cool.
they do, then what it will do is it will start sending them more homes that look like that. And the agent, I believe, unless they've changed it, I can make it, let's say a person, to them, a kitchen's really important to them, I will change the setting, so when they look at a house, the very first picture that shows up to them is not the outside of the house, it's the kitchen.
Interesting.
Because if they don't want to look at anything unless the kitchen's a certain thing, we can do that, right?
That's cool.
I even added these new flows where it's it's very powerful. And they spent $1 billion developing this app. So, hey Tracy, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy.
We have flows for a buyer and for a seller, and it takes you through the step-by-step process. And I can chime in there, and I think I can send referrals to lenders and stuff
really
like that. It's awesome. So they started launching it, rolling it out in little segments. So if you already have the app, you've downloaded it, it'll automatically update. But it's really cool.
They So is this something that you give to people? You say, hey, do you have the app? Or
yeah, I can just
do you
text
have
it to them.
it?
I just text it to them. And the reason too is it stops people from sending me so much stuff on I don't know, third-party websites that aren't accurate, right? They can go, this gets imported directly from the MLS, and nobody has the data that Keller Williams has. Keller Williams has 40 years of data underneath them.
Gigantic.
Yeah, largest firm in the world.
He seems really nice, though.
Gary?
Just looking at watching the videos.
He seems like a good dude.
I mean, I haven't heard anything.
No.
But he seems nice. But you know how there's certain people when you look at them, when you look at them and they just have a kind spirit.
Kind soul.
Yeah. He looks like he would have a
You
kind
look
spirit.
like that after you started talking, but before you start talking.
I know. I'm sorry.
RBF.
I know. I don't mean to be that way.
True.
I don't. And I don't know how to fix that because that's just how my face is.
So I'm going to put Joan on the spot, and I'm going to actually ask for your help.
Why?
Because next week, Joan is going to talk about when she's doing photography, dealing with people's insecurities. And I need your help, and put in the comments if you can come up with any ways to help people feel more confident when photos are being taken of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big issue that she deals with, trying to get people to actually feel good enough in their own skin to smile for the camera.
Yeah.
Right? And to not complain and bitch and moan about it. Right?
Yeah.
So, we need help with that. So, that's going to be next week's episode.
Yeah, maybe I need, maybe there's some books on how to, or not books, or places to go to
You just put the
see
books
how
over
you
their
can-
face.
how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
a good place to start.
Yeah.
How to communicate well with other people.
The peeps.
Because maybe my communication skills aren't as
Not.
good as they should be.
Not good. It's alright.
But, well, I mean, clearly I need work on my facial expressions because...
That's not what
I
your
mean,
face looks like. Looks
what's it
angrier.
look like?
Just angrier.
I know, I'm sorry. It's just very angular.
No,
When
angrier. I'm not saying
I
angular.
know, angular. But,
angrier.
But usually when they draw...
Angrier.
You know when they draw
Yeah, the
angry
eyebrows
cartoons,
on?
they're just angry?
Yeah, that's
Is that
your
what I
face.
look like?
Yes.
Yeah, just so...
So
I don't mean-
unapproachable.
I'm just
Which
telling
actually I'm kind of
people.
jealous about the unapproachableness. I'm a little bit jealous of that.
Yeah, because...
Everyone approaches me.
Yes.
Disgusting.
It's actually quite funny.
It is funny. So, alright, so next week we're going to talk about insecurities in photography.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. Alright, thanks for watching.
All right.
Peace out.
Bye,
Hey,
guys.
town.